जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोकुलानंद राधे। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा। जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। निताई गौर हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीबीटी संस्थापक आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद भगवान की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय। उपस्थित भक्तवृंद की जय। उपस्थित भक्तवृंद की जय। उपस्थित भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees to the weekly English Bhagavad Gita class. Till now we have discussed the first and the second verse of Bhagavad Gita, and today we will begin discussion on the third verse. So chapter 1, text number 3. पश्येतां पाण्डुपुत्राणाम् आचार्य महतीं चमूं व्यूढां द्रुपदपुत्रेण तव शिष्येण धीमता। पश्येतां पाण्डुपुत्राणाम् आचार्य महतीं चमूं व्यूढां द्रुपदपुत्रेण तव शिष्येण धीमता। पश्येतां पाण्डुपुत्राणाम् आचार्य महतीं चमूं व्यूढां द्रुपदपुत्रेण तव शिष्येण धीमता। Anyone wants to repeat? Anybody else? Okay. What means? Pashya, behold, etam, this, Pandu Putranam, of the sons of Pandu, Acharya, O teacher, Mahati, great. Chamum, military force. Vyudham, arranged. Drupada Putrena, by the son of Drupad. Tava, your. Shishyena, disciple. Dhi Mata, very intelligent. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. Purport. Duryodhan, a great diplomat, wanted to point out the defects of Dronacharya, the great Brahman commander-in-chief. Dronacharya had some political quarrel with King Drupad, the father of Draupadi, who was Arjun's wife. As a result of this quarrel, Drupad performed a great sacrifice, by which he received the benediction of having a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this perfectly well, and yet as a liberal Brahman, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secrets when the son of Drupad, Dhrishtadyumna, was entrusted to him for military education. Now on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Dhrishtadyumna took the side of the Pandavas, and it was he who arranged for their military phalanx, after having learned the art from Dronacharya. Duryodhan pointed out this mistake of Dronacharya's, so that he might be alert and uncompromising in the fighting. By this he wanted to point out also that he should not be similarly lenient in battle against the Pandavas, who were also Dronacharya's affectionate students. Arjun especially was his most affectionate and brilliant student. Duryodhan also warned that such leniency in the fight would lead to defeat. So we are reading from the third text of the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. We'll just have a quick recap of what we studied in text 2. In text 2, Sanjay told King Dhritarashtra that your son Duryodhan, he looked over the army which was arranged in military formation by the Pandavas, and then Duryodhan went to his teacher Dronacharya and he spoke the following words. Raja Vachanam Abravit. So what did he speak? That is mentioned in text 3. He went to his teacher Dronacharya and this is what he spoke. So in the previous class we discussed primarily the difference between the attitude of Duryodhan and Yudhishthir. In the beginning of the battle, both Duryodhan and Yudhishthir, they approached Dronacharya, but with completely opposite attitude. Yudhishthir, he took off his warrior clothes and he wore simple clothes and he went to Dronacharya as a student, in the mood of a student to beg for his permission and blessings for the war. And Duryodhan is going to Dronacharya in the mood of an authority to give him command. So Duryodhan is making a very inauspicious start to the most important event of his life. Although he has learnt the military art from Dronacharya, but still he is going to Dronacharya to actually point out his fault, his mistakes, not to take his blessings. So Dhritarashtra had asked Sanjay what his sons and Pandu's sons did when they assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So Dhritarashtra had 100 sons and all the 100 sons were irreligious. Specifically, they were non-devotees. They were adharmic. They had no trace of any religion in them. And among these 100 sons, the most irreligious, the greatest non-devotee and the eldest was Duryodhan. Duryodhan was the most irreligious out of all the 100. That is the reason Sanjay is mostly talking about Duryodhan only. That is one reason. And second reason, he knows that his king Dhritarashtra is mostly attached to Duryodhan and he wants to hear about Duryodhan only. What Duryodhan did. because he is concerned about the victory of his son Duryodhana. So Sanjay is talking mostly about Duryodhana here. And in Mahabharata, Sanjay spoke about others also, other than Duryodhana. But in Bhagavad Gita especially, only Duryodhana is being talked about in this context of the Kauravas. So according to Mahabharata, Duryodhana is the personified incarnation of Kali himself. So Duryodhana contains all the bad qualities of Kali to the maximum extent possible. He is personified Kali, the incarnation of Kali. So what Duryodhana did, he created quarrel in the family. It was his desire and his over-ambition which led to all these problems, this feud, the fight between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. And he is definitely responsible for creating the war. Because Lord Shri Krishna, on the request of Pandavas, he had approached King Dhritarashtra on a peace mission. He was ready for peace. Pandavas were ready. They just wanted even 5 villages. They were ready to be satisfied with that. But Duryodhana, he actually wanted the war. He did not want to share anything, he actually wanted the war, and he wanted to make sure that the Pandavas are killed. He did not want the Pandavas even to be alive. He wanted them to be killed. So he was hell-bent. He was intent on having the war. So in one way, indirectly Duryodhana has helped Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna has incarnated with the mission of killing all the demoniac kings. Now the point is, how do you assemble all the demoniac kings? So Duryodhana is indirectly becoming an agent in this mission. He is helping the Lord in this mission of killing all the kings by creating this war, and on the pretext of war, all the kings are going to assemble in one place. So Shri Krishna will not have to go everywhere and kill the kings separately. All the kings are going to come here, they will be assembled. Duryodhana will be their leader. And indirectly Duryodhana is actually furthering this mission of killing these demoniac kings. Although that is not his intention. But in that context, Krishna is actually using Duryodhana for his mission. So the way Duryodhana created this fight in the society of Kauravas and Pandavas, exactly in this way Kali also creates disturbance in our mind. So Duryodhana is representing how in our day-to-day life Kali creates disturbance. The way when Duryodhana did not follow dharma, there was fight in the family. So if we also don't follow dharma, there will be fight in the world, there will be fight in the level of country, there will be fight at the level of society, there will be fight in our family, and most importantly, there will be fight in our mind. There will be a constant battle in our mind if we are adharmic. So Duryodhana had everything, but he was never peaceful. He had everything except one thing, that was peace of mind. He was never peaceful his whole life. Right from childhood, he was always plotting against the Pandavas. Whether he was successful or unsuccessful, he was always worried that Pandavas should not take away the kingdom. So just for this kingdom, he got everything, but he bargained everything with the peace of mind. He was never peaceful. So this is the characteristic of Kali. When we break religious principles, when we don't follow religious principles, the most importantly what we don't get is peace of mind, which all of us want, and we don't get that. So due to Kali, we see fighting everywhere, at all levels in society, from individual, from our mental level till international level. Everywhere there is fight. Why? Because of Kali. And where Kali works, Kali can work only in that place where religious principles are broken. Where religious principles are followed, Kali has no authority in that place. Kali's authority is only in sinful places, where sins are committed. Sin means breaking religious principle. So Duryodhana is personified Kali, and he is showing how Kali works in our life. So being the incarnation of Kali, he created fight in family. Now Dhritarashtra had not only asked about Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra had asked about the Pandavas also. Now compared to Duryodhana and the Kauravas, Pandavas were all devotees. All the Pandavas were highly religious, highly dharmic. And the greatest devotee out of all the 5 Pandavas was Arjuna. That's why he was the favorite of Lord Sri Krishna. Because he was the best devotee out of all the 5 Pandavas. And that is the reason Sanjay mostly in Mahabharata talked about Arjuna when he was discussing about the war. And in Bhagavad Gita, only Arjuna is mentioned. So we see in Bhagavad Gita, there is mention of 2 extreme people. One is an extreme devotee, best of the devotees, that is Arjuna. And one is the best of the non-devotees, that is Duryodhana. Most religious and most irreligious. Both are being discussed by Sanjay. And now interestingly, if we see the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra asked about only 2 people. Which 2? My sons and Pandu's sons. Dhritarashtra never asked Sanjay, please tell me what Lord Sri Krishna did. This was not his question. His question was, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva. Oh Sanjay, please tell me what my sons did. And please tell me what Pandu's sons did. He did not ask about what Lord Sri Krishna did. But Krishna is also being described in Bhagavad Gita by Sanjay because with Arjuna, Sri Krishna is connected. Both are inseparable. You cannot describe about only Arjuna without mentioning about Lord Sri Krishna. That is not possible. So Sanjay not only told about what Pandavas did, but he also told in detail what Lord Sri Krishna did with the Pandavas. How he helped them at every step in the war. What knowledge he gave to Arjuna. You cannot, they are like 2 sides of same coin. Okay, you can't have only Arjuna without Sri Krishna. That is not possible. And Sanjay also narrated what Lord spoke as the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. But he was not asked about that. Dhritarashtra had not asked, please tell me what Lord Sri Krishna told to Arjuna. But Sanjay is telling him. So Arjuna is inseparable from Lord Sri Krishna. Now, in this verse, Sanjay is telling that first of all, your son Duryodhan, he went to his teacher Dronacharya. Why? He wanted Dronacharya to look at the huge army of Pandavas. In the previous class, we had discussed that Duryodhan became very much afraid of this military formation. And we discussed about the background also. So, the background was, I'll tell in brief, the background was that Yudhishthir Maharaj, when he saw how Bhishma Dev had prepared the army, the whole arrangement for Kauravas, he went to Arjuna and he told Arjuna, see such great arrangement Bhishma Dev has made. You also make some expert arrangement of our army. So Arjuna told, don't worry. I will arrange our army in the Vajra formation. So there are different designs of army. Which person will be placed in which position. So there are many such Vyuha formations described in Mahabharata. One of the Vyuhas is called Vajra Vyuha. So Arjuna told that I will arrange the army in Vajra Vyuha formation and the leader of the army will be Bhim. So when they will see this Vajra Vyuha formation, especially Bhim standing in front, they will become very much afraid. And that is exactly what happened. Duryodhan became extremely afraid after looking at the Pandavas' army. Although Pandavas' army was smaller, it was only 7 Akshauhini and Kauravas' army was 11 Akshauhini. So ideally Pandavas should have become afraid of Duryodhan's army. But what happened was opposite. Duryodhan became afraid by looking at the arrangement, the Vajra Vyuha formation. So with that fear, Duryodhan is coming to Dronacharya and he is telling, look at this huge army of the Pandavas. He is giving order to his teacher. First, he begins by ordering his teacher only. So this is one symptom of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, student orders teacher and teacher follows the student. Everything is opposite. So Duryodhan wants to give hint to Dronacharya that, he wants to tell Dronacharya that you love these Pandavas so much, but you see what type of people are they. They are so notorious. They have dared to create an army in front of their teacher to fight with their teacher only. So you should look at this army. Who has created this army? These Pandavas. And these Pandavas are your students. And you have so much affection for these Pandavas. and you can't see that they have created this army to fight with you only, and still you maintain so much affection for them. So he wants to create that envy in the heart of Dronacharya. Because when two people are fighting, unless you have anger, okay, unless you have some level of anger, how will you fight? This is a war, this is not a romance. So you can't fight in the battlefield with feeling of affection. That is not possible. So he has to be angry. And Duryodhan knows already that from his childhood student days, he knows how much Dronacharya loves Arjuna. He will not fight properly with Arjuna. So he wants to create that anger inside Dronacharya. So he is telling that you should not become affectionate to the Pandavas. See carefully what type of dangerous army they have created just to fight with their teacher. Do you think they are fit to be called students? So Duryodhan is telling that I am your actual student. I am with you. How can a student fight with his teacher? I am your real student and you don't love me, although I am with you. And you love these Pandavas who have created this army to fight against you. That means you are a fool, number one. This is what he wants to hint indirectly. So, but internally the point is Duryodhan is worried. He is having fear. He is afraid of this army of Pandavas. So he wants to incite this hatred. And like Duryodhan, people who are affected by Kali, in their hearts they are also envious of devotees. Duryodhan is Kali personified. He is incarnation of Kali. So he is jealous of Pandavas who are devotees. In the same way, people whose heart is captured by Kali, these people are always envious of devotees, envious of religious people. That you always see in television and the news everywhere. Every day these things are going on. Okay, so much problem is created for religious people. So these people who create trouble in the lives of religious people, they are actually affected by Kali. This Duryodhan is inside their heart. So Duryodhan then tells Dronacharya that you know who has created this army? This army is created by a very intelligent student of yours. Very intelligent student. And his name is Dhrishtadyumna. And Duryodhan does not tell Dhrishtadyumna in this verse. He tells Drupada Putrena. He could have told Dhrishtadyumna also. But intentionally he is not telling Dhrishtadyumna. He is telling Drupad Putrena. Because he wants to remind Dronacharya of the previous hatred with Drupada. Don't forget your quarrel with Drupad. So what is this story? The story goes like this, that Drupad and Dronacharya, they were childhood friends. Very close friends. They studied in the same Gurukul. So Drupad, after graduating from Gurukul, he wanted to become king. And Dronacharya, he just wanted to become a Brahman. So Drupad, he promised to Dronacharya that, he told Dronacharya that you are my best friend. I love you so much that if my father gives me the kingdom, if I get the kingdom from my father, I will share half of my kingdom with you. Half I will give you. So many times it happens in our life, we just make some promise out of emotion, without thinking seriously whether we can actually follow it. So he just emotionally made that promise, but Dronacharya took it very seriously. So Dronacharya, he was a Brahman. He was actually not at all interested in the kingdom. Brahman has nothing to do with kingdom and all. So later, after graduating Drupad, he became the king, and Dronacharya, he remained a poor Brahman. He was actually extremely poor. He was so poor that he did not have even milk to give to his son Ashwathama. The son Ashwathama would cry, and Dronacharya in his family, they did not have milk also. So he thought that, then he remembered that my friend Drupad, he had given me promise that after graduating he will give me half of his kingdom. I don't want any kingdom, I will just go and ask him for one cow. If I have one cow, then I will get milk, and then my son will not have to sleep hungry without milk. So he went to Drupad, but Drupad, his mind had changed now, because he was not serious while making the promise. It was just an emotional promise. So Drupad did not welcome Dronacharya properly. Not only that, in fact, when Dronacharya made this request of one cow, Drupad insulted him. He told that when we were in Gurukul, that time we were equal. We know in school, whether a student comes from rich family or poor family, all wear the same uniform. They all sit in the same classroom, same books, same teacher, everything is same. So he told that naturally in Gurukul we were equal. Does that mean you should think that after Gurukul also you and I will be equal? How can you think like that? In Gurukul equality was there, okay, fine. But now you are a beggar and I am the king. How can there be equality between beggar and king? And being a beggar, how can you dare to call yourself my friend? This is not right. So then Dronacharya felt very much insulted. If the king would have just refused, then he would not have felt so much insulted. But these words of Drupad insulted him very much. And Dronacharya decided to take revenge against Drupad. So in the previous class we were discussing that one time it so happened that Dronacharya, he called a meeting of all his students in the Gurukul, Pandavas and Kauravas, and he asked them that give me one promise that after the Gurukul training is over, you will give me whatever I demand as Guru Dakshina. He did not tell what Guru Dakshina he will ask. He gave open-ended question. Whatever I will ask, are you ready to give me? No student told yes. Nobody. It's a very dangerous question. We never know what he may ask. Only one student, Arjun, he immediately told, yes, Gurudev, whatever you ask, I will give you. Immediately, now only I make promise. So Dronacharya was very happy. Now at the end of the Gurukul training, Drona, he demanded Guru Dakshina from Arjun. You had promised, no? So this is Arjun. This is not Drupad, that he will forget his promise. So he told Arjun that go and fight with Drupad, defeat him and tie him. Tie him with rope and bring him in front of me. So Arjun went and he had battle with Drupad. He defeated Drupad. That's a different story. And he tied King Drupad with ropes and he brought him in and Drupad fell down on the feet of Dronacharya. Then Drona said, see, you had told that we are not equal. So there cannot be any friendship among us. Now, because you are captured, I have the authority over your kingdom. Now your kingdom is not yours. Now your kingdom belongs to me actually, but I will take only half of your kingdom. So you keep half of your kingdom, I keep half. Now we have become equal or no? Earlier I was beggar and you were king, we were not equal. But now you have half, I have half. We have half of kingdom. Now we are equal. So now we are friends. Now because we are friends, I keep half of your kingdom and out of friendship I am releasing you. Go back. Live with half of your kingdom. This was extremely insulting to Drupad. If Dronacharya would have killed Drupad, Drupad would not have problem. But being a Kshatriya, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna says, Kshatriya can tolerate death, but he cannot tolerate insult. Kshatriya cannot tolerate insult. So Drupad became extremely angry and he wanted to take counter revenge. So Mahabharata is full of all these interesting stories. Lot of politics, fight, revenge, all these things are there. So Drupad decided that I cannot defeat Dronacharya, I know. But I will give birth to a son who will kill Drona. I will give birth to one such son. So he made this sankalp. Like before Yajna, we do a sankalp. There is a sankalp system before Yajna. What you want to get out of this Yajna? What is your objective? So he made this sankalpa that I want a son from a sacrifice, fire sacrifice. I want a son who will kill Drona. So he performed a Yajna and from this Yajna, Dhrishtadyumna was born. So the purpose of Dhrishtadyumna's birth was to kill Dronacharya. And interestingly, Dronacharya was aware of this fact that Dhrishtadyumna is born to kill him only. That is the purpose of his birth. But Dronacharya was not like Kans. When the Akashvani happened and the Devatas, the demigods, they told Kamsa that the 8th child of your sister will become the cause of your death, Kamsa started killing one son after the other. But Dronacharya was not like that. He also could have actually tried to kill Dhrishtadyumna, but he did not do that. He was not like Kamsa. Just like Kamsa tried his best to kill Krishna, but Dronacharya did not try to save himself from death. Kamsa also knew that my sister's son is already born and he will kill me. So he tried his best to save his life. So Kamsa was ready to kill a child to save his life. But Dronacharya was not ready to kill Dhrishtadyumna to save his life. In fact, Dronacharya was such a great Brahman that he made this Dhrishtadyumna his disciple, his student. And he only gave Dhrishtadyumna the training in military art. Although he knew that with this training, in future he will kill me only. But even though he knew that, still as a Brahman, it was his duty to give training to the son of a Kshatriya. Drupad was a Kshatriya and Dronacharya was a military teacher. So he was duty bound to give training to the son of a Kshatriya. So he gave same training to Dhrishtadyumna. There was no partiality at all. So now this is a great quality of Dronacharya as a Brahman. In the eyes of demigods, it is a great quality. But in the eyes of Duryodhan, it is the worst quality. So Duryodhan is telling you are a fool number one. He cannot tell directly like that. Because if he tells directly like that, Dronacharya will not be able to tolerate that much insult and he will go back. So he is criticizing Dronacharya indirectly. Indirectly. Like in Hindi we say, Jale par namak chhidakna. First of all, Dronacharya is already very much upset that he has to fight with his favorite students and he has to support this evil Duryodhan. On top of that, Duryodhan is telling all these pinching words. Pinch Martin, pinch. He is pinching Duryodhan. That you fool, you already knew that this person will kill you in future and knowingly you gave him the training in military art. You are the most foolish teacher in this world. There is no bigger fool than you. This is his intent. So he is indicating that this person who is born to kill you, you have trained him only. What have you done? So in Kali Yuga, people who are demoniac like Duryodhan, they find faults in great teachers also. In Kali Yuga, we will see that if a demon has a small good quality, it will be glorified too much. And if a devotee has a small fault, his small fault will also be glorified too much. This is the quality of Kali Yuga. So Duryodhan, he is a very diplomatic person. What he is doing out of diplomacy, he is trying to incite Dronacharya. Why? So that Drona becomes angry at Pandavas. So politics, according to Shastra, Niti Shastra, politics has 4 parts. Sam, Dan, Danda, Bhed. So if I have problem with some person, okay, if I have problems, a political problem with some person, let's say I have an enemy, there are 4 ways of controlling enemy. The best way of controlling is called Sama. Sama means give him good advice, good shiksha, so that he may reform himself. If Sama does not work, then second method is called Dan. Dan means by giving him gift. If I give a gift to my enemy, he may forget his enmity. First is give good advice. If advice does not work, give gift. If gift also does not work, then the third method is there, that is called Danda. Danda means punish the enemy, give punishment. And the worst method, the fourth method is called Bhed. Bhed means divide and rule. You know, like what British did in India, divide and rule policy. Control and make the enemy weak by cheating. Make him weak. So this is what Britishers did. First they changed the meaning of all the Shastras, they killed all the Brahmanas, they killed the cows, so that India's spiritual knowledge, spiritual culture becomes weak. And when the spiritual knowledge becomes weak, then we can easily divide them, and after dividing we can rule over them. So this is called Bhed. So in modern world, politics only means Bhed. This is the modern definition of politics. Politics means divide and rule. Just create rift. Okay, divide the public and rule over them very easily. This is modern politics. But according to Niti Shastra, Bhed is considered the worst type of politics. It is not at all dharmic. It is worse. It is called last option. Okay, if nothing else works, then one has to go for Bhed. Now, for Asuras, according to Asuras, Bhed is considered the best politics. For a demon, for an Asur, the best politics is Bhed, divide and rule. Okay, but for a Brahmana, for people who are devotees, the best politics is Sama. Sama means try to reform people by giving good advice. And we see in Mahabharata that people like Yudhishthir, Bhishma, Drona, they always tried to reform Duryodhan by Sama, by always giving him good advice. They never tried to create any Bhed. So Drona always tried, Bhishma tried. So many people, they kept on trying by giving him good advice, but it never worked. So, but Duryodhan, he always opted for the last option, that is Bhed type of politics. So this is why Drona was always more affectionate to Pandavas, because Dronacharya, he was a Brahman and Pandavas had all the Brahmanical qualities. They were devotees, they were full of good qualities. So that's why Dronacharya was more affectionate to them. And in Bhagavad Gita, and this type of politics, that is Sama, this is actually preferred by Shastra. This is preferred by Shastra. So in Bhagavad Gita, later on, Lord Krishna will tell that he gave this wisdom earlier also and the saintly kings learnt it. Bhagavad Gita was learnt not only by Brahmanas living in the forest, it was learnt by kings also. Kings who were actually within the cities and they had so much of stress for managing the kingdom, they were learning it. And saintly kings ruled the world by principles of Bhagavad Gita. So king has to do politics. King cannot avoid politics. So kings also did politics, but according to what? According to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Not according to this Bhed policy of Duryodhan. They were also ruling over the kingdom, but according in the dharmic way, in the religious way. That is taught in the Bhagavad Gita. But the demoniac kings, they rule the world based on exploitation. Like, if you see the definition of management in the modern management textbooks, management definition is given, management is the art of getting work done by people. Management मतलब क्या? लोगों से काम कराने की कला को मैनेजमेंट कहते हैं. और काम करा के फिर उनको छोड़ दो. Then just leave them. So, get maximum work and give minimum salary. This is best management. Maximum work means what? Basically, this is a sophisticated way of telling that management means exploitation. Exploitation. So, this is the politics of demoniac kings. They always try to exploit the public in the irreligious way. But when saintly kings, when they rule over the earth, then all the demigods are pleased, all the devatas are happy, and the earth also gives lot of this anna in abundance. When in the previous yugas, when the saintly kings, they were the rulers of the earth, we never hear that there was any shortage of food. But when demoniac kings, they rule over the earth, like in Kali Yuga, then earth gives very less. So we see in Krishna Lila, in Srimad Bhagavatam, that when there was too much burden of these demoniac kings on the earth, then this earth, the deity of earth, she took the shape of a cow, and in the form of cow she went to Lord Brahma and she was crying that this burden is becoming too much. Now I cannot tolerate this burden of these sinful, demoniac kings, who are actually demons in the dress of king. They are demons actually. So to relieve the earth of this distress of demons, Lord Sri Krishna took birth. He appeared on this earth to relieve the earth of this particular burden, and especially from the rule of Duryodhana. So in gist, this is the practical lesson what we get from this third verse, that kings should always try to rule over this kingdom, kings should always try to rule in the dharmic way, in the religious way, and they should, as far as possible, try to follow the policy of Sama, not the demoniac policy of Bhed. Here we see Duryodhan is trying to create Bheda. Bheda between whom? Bheda between the Pandavas and Dronacharya. He is trying to create fight between Dronacharya and Pandavas. He knows that they have a bond of love. If I can create this bond, if I can break this relation between Drona and Pandavas, then I can win this battle easily. I have to break this love. Unless I break it, it is very difficult for Drona to fight with his heart. He will not give his full heart in this battle because he loves the Pandavas. So I have to create the Bhed, the divide between Drona and Pandavas. That is why he is inciting Drona and telling him, see this army, who has created this army? Your favorite students, Pandavas, they have created this army. I am your best student because I am still with you. And those whom you consider best, they are standing against you. Not only that, you are a fool number one. Why? Because you gave training, you knowingly gave training to the person whom you knew he will kill you in future. Why did you give this training? Because of your foolishness, today he has created such a big army and I have to suffer because of you. So you have created problem in my life. You are a foolish teacher actually. So he is also showing what is the attitude of a student in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, student considers himself or herself more intelligent than teacher, and students give directions to teacher how you should teach. Not only in material circle, even in spiritual circle it happens. The disciple will give instruction to Guru. Disciple will give knowledge to Guru. This is how you should do, this is what you should not do, this will work properly, that will work properly. Even in Srila Prabhupada's time, sometimes it used to happen. So Srila Prabhupada, he used to become very angry and he used to tell his disciples, don't think yourself more intelligent than your Guru. Don't give direction to Guru. Even if you know more, never think that you are intelligent than your Guru. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came back from Gaya, he told, Guru more murkha dekhi korila shasan. That my Guru saw that I am a fool. So he told me that you don't have authority in studying Vedanta. What should you do? You should only chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in our life, we should aspire to become disciples like Yudhishthira and Arjuna. No matter what happened, Arjuna always stayed with Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, we should try to become like Yudhishthira. Even though Yudhishthira's teacher is standing against him, still Yudhishthira has not forgotten that he was my teacher. And teacher is teacher, whether he is with me or in the opposite army. So Yudhishthira went and he begged for the permission and blessings of Dronacharya. And this Duryodhan, he is starting the battle only with fault finding. So this is the symptom of the Shishya in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the disciple, he finds fault in his Guru. Guru should find fault in disciple. But when Guru finds fault in disciple, disciple becomes very angry. That I am so qualified, I am so intelligent. You don't have the proper vision. You can't see my ability. You can't see my quality. Actually, fault is in you only. It is your problem. Because of you, I am not able to progress in bhakti. You are actually not a proper Guru. So, in Kali Yuga, the disciple spends his whole life analyzing Guru only. Whether my Guru is a good Guru or no, whether he is capable or no, but he never thinks about himself, whether I have become a proper disciple or no. So, with these words, we will end the discussion of today's text, and next Saturday we will begin discussion of text number 4. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.